So our next guest is such a great guest, such a great writer, the editor for the National Review. And we enjoy this guy so much that he is now, as of today, going to be a weekly guest on the Bernie and Sid Show. He's on Meet the Press on that panel often. You'll see his editorials in newspapers all across the country. His new column is out. Yes, there is a crisis at the border. He's a very, very good friend, Rich Lowry. Good morning, Rich.
Richie.
Hey, guys, I'm honored. I've ascended to this nearly the same status as the Mooch. This is a big deal for me.
What do you mean nearly? It's the same exact status. He's on Wednesdays, you're on Mondays. You're a star. Only difference is...
I can never put myself entirely on the same level as the Mooch.
Well, that's true. You're right. He's much wealthier, right. But you know, and he does own a part of the Mets, and, of course, you're a Yankee fan, so that separates you two right off the bat. What do you think, by the way, for the fourth time in 5 years, Tanaka gets the opening day start? How about that?
He's been so solid, especially given, you're always holding your breath about his elbow. But I love that kind of Japanese ethic. Godzilla had it as well, and Ichiro. I mean, they're just such pros,
When you say Godzilla, you mean Hideki Matsui. You don't mean the actual, right?
Matsui, yeah. I was blanking on his name for a second.
By the way, you really do need to clarify.
I'm already blowing it. I'm a weekly guest. I'm already blowing it.
In this day and age, you need to clarify.
Right, people are going, Godzilla, you mean the monster? Hideki Matsui. So the article is, yes, there's a crisis at the border. Bernie and I were just talking about that. Give a quick synopsis, because Bernie is all over this. He's on top, and he knows it. What's the crisis here? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so you had a surge of 76,000 apprehensions in February, the most in more than 10 years. And it's going to go higher this year, this month. They expect to go higher the month after that. And the basic problem is we have, in effect, open borders for a certain segment of migrants from Central America if they bring children. And the word has spread throughout networks in Central America that that's the case. So now, it used to be single men, usually from Mexico, and now these apprehensions, 60% of them were family units, when, 10 years ago it was just 10%. So word has gotten out that if you fit this description, you're getting in. And there's just, I talked to a lot of people in the administration who, are real border hawks, and they don't think there's any way to stop this.
No, as a matter of fact, one of the lines in your article, which is very good, we could be about to experience a migrant surge worthy of Angela Merkel at her most open-handed. I mean, that's how bad it is. And, of course, as you know, Rich, and a lot of people are oblivious to this. They don't care. It doesn't affect them or whatever. But you can't have open borders and welfare states, which we have in California and here in New York, where you give away the store, licenses, driver's licenses, free education, free health care. I mean, people will come in. They'll just it's like smoking. It won't kill you today, but eventually it's going to get you.
Yeah, well, and just these rules just mean we can't turn them around. They get to come in and apply for asylum, which takes years, and then at the end, if they don't get their asylum granted, they just stay. And, there have been hundreds of thousands of people like this who've come in the last several years, and basically none of them have had to leave. And you'd think that the left would be concerned about it, and occasionally they do complain about, basically, for humanitarian reasons, because all the facilities are built for single men. They're completely overwhelmed. So you have these, women and children who have gone through this trek and show up, kind of in bad shape or hungry or cold, and they have to, sit around in concrete block buildings that are totally inappropriate because we just don't have the facilities. And then, of course, restrictionists, which should oppose it for obvious reasons, but you think both sides would want to take care of this problem, but instead it's just going to go on and on.
You would think, and of course, the Democrats years ago, not so many years ago, as a matter of fact, they were all for border control. I mean, they were not for open borders, and now you have this new wave of Democrats that have come in that have hijacked the party, essentially. AOC and Omar. I mean, this woman Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she's effectively been neutered by these people, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that was the lesson of last week, and the ridiculous contortions over the resolution to condemn Omar, which didn't really end up being a resolution condemning Omar. In fact, she voted for it and celebrated it. So Pelosi, there's a brief moment of strength there when she became Speaker without giving in as much as I thought she would have to. And it's part because she benefited from that Oval Office meeting for Trump, when she was seen standing up to him. But the energy of the party is on with the radical freshmen, and they showed last week they can roll her. And once you do that, the rolling never ends.
What do you think? What do you think about the latest story talking about the Democrats that Biden, who has not yet announced officially he's running yet, although we were told last week in every major newspaper that will come mid-April, that he's now jumped ahead of Bernie Sanders as the guy that is, at least at this point, very early on, maybe hole 2 of this PGA championship, but he is the leader in the clubhouse after the first few holes. I think he's going to win that side. I really do. I know he's got some stuff he said in the past, and Bernie brought it up with Chuck Todd a couple days ago, but for some reason I think the Democrats are relying on this guy to beat Donald Trump. I don't think he can, but I think he wins as soon as he enters.
I kind of have exactly the opposite view on both ends of that. I think he'd be really tough for Trump. He's the Democrat I think the White House should fear most. I think the White House probably does fear most. But I think it's going to be really hard for him to win this nomination, just for this very same reason we were talking about Pelosi being out of step now with kind of the new drive in the party. That's true of Biden, times 10. And I think he's going to constantly step in it inadvertently, not knowing what the latest pieties and sensitivities are, and he'll have a lot to apologize for. The thing that he potentially has going for him is if there are enough reasonable Democrats out there who just want to win, then he's it could happen for him. But I think he could be their Jeb Bush, the guy on paper you think is going to be the front runner, you think can win the general, and he just has lost a step and is not where his party is anymore.
So with all of this, and it's going to shape up to be one hell of an entertaining clown show, these primary debates, who does Rich Lowry see out of this this group of people?
Well, I think you have to take Bernie seriously, just based on the fundraising, based on the crowd.
My partner or Sanders?
What's that?
My partner or Sanders?
Both. And, I hate to say it because I spent months mocking him, but Beto could be a serious force as well.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's trying to do what Obama did. We kind of forget in 2008, Obama was sort of ill-defined. He tried to have some moderate appeal, and then he lit up the Democratic base with his personality.
True.
That avoided him getting pushed into saying things that, would make him unelectable. And Beto, I don't know whether he's as talented as Obama, but that's what he's going to try to do.
As we wrap this up, I was watching Virginia beat Louisville on Saturday, and for some reason I thought about you. I remember when you and I became friendly down in Florida many years ago, that your avatar on your Twitter, for some reason, was like a Virginia Cavalier.
Good memory. Yeah, I'm a UVA guy.
You are?
I listened to that game in horror that there would be a blight on a record besides losing to Duke twice this year.
Right.
But it's been, it's funny how your expectations shift, because I think UVA last 2 years is 58-5.
Yes.
But we lost twice to Duke this year and went to overtime once against North Carolina State. And I was like, this is kind of a disappointing year. And then it's just always, I don't think we're built to win a tournament, because we don't, it's too dependent on three-point shooting. We don't have a big man to bail us out if the shooting's not there. So, and had that historic defeat last year, which
right, the 116.
About it, the better.
But you were missing your best player. Just so you know, on the way out, to make you feel better, I've had both Seth Greenberg and Fran Fraschilla on my Sunday sports show here on ABC the last 2 weeks. Both think Virginia will win the ACC and will win the national championship.
Great.
So,
all right,
there you have it.
There you go, Rich.
You're great,
Lowry.
Rich. Thank you. Every Monday, Rich Lowry,
my man. Editor, of course, of the National Review, wonderful columnist. Check him out, folks. This one is, yes, there is a border crisis right now. Anyway, thank you, Rich. All the best. We're coming right back on Bernie and Sid.
Bernie and Sid in the morning.